Oh man, today we have a special treat. We have this 65 C10 long bed with a DontBSmeClone in it. These guys did all their reading ahead of time, put it all together themselves. It's their first time doing fuel-injected turbo power adder car like this. They had zero issues, and they brought it to the dyno, and we had no issues, and we made 561 horsepower to the tire. Imagine that. I'm blown away. They did an amazing job. This is, like I said, this is Steven's 65 C10. It is a 5.3 that is pretty much stock intake to oil pan, with the exception of sloppy stage 2 camshaft, pack 1218 valve springs, and 80 pounds Siemens Deca injectors just dropped in there. They built their own hot side, which is beautiful, and it has a VS Racing blow-off valve, VS Racing wastegate, VS Racing 78-75 millimeter turbo, air-to-air intercooler package from VS, of course. It is running an AEM 380 pump that I recommend. It is running a 4L80E with the HD2 kit and a Circle D budget converter. And this thing, they brought it in with the lightest wastegate spring. I mean, they actually listened. Imagine that. Let's hear, how much boost does it make? We'll pause for a second. Where's it at? Soon. Yep, on our initial hit it made like 360 on the base tune, and then I trimmed a little bit of fuel. It easily made 380 on 3.5 pounds. We busted out my little regulator and we started adding boost, and it did great. It did easy 555 on 14, and I pushed boost and timing around a little bit. We had a maximum of 561 horsepower to the tire, but decided to back it off a tiny bit, and it will be low for now until he hooks up the boost controller. He wants to do the AEM dial-a-boost setup that I have, so he can move it around and get used to it and have fun. But enjoy the dyno pulls. We'll go over some data logs at the end for you info nerdy types. Okay, so that was a Chevy truck. Let's get the internet correction factor in there. Dyno wasn't low today. They didn't pay extra, so just classic internet. 1320 video, internet only today. So, Stevens 65. Boom. Look at this. Don't BS me, clone. This is what he came in with. Nice stout 360 on the base tune. A little bit fat, safe. Pulled a little bit of fuel, picked up, and then we started throwing some boost at it, and his wastegate was so low we couldn't really get any boost. So about here, I hooked up my CO2. Not my CO2, but you get the idea. My external air pressure regulator to add boost to the top. So we came towering out with about 485 wheel, and it did that pretty easily. I think it made this on like 9 pounds, 10 pounds, something like that. And then it pretty easily went 506. We added a little bit of boost. We went 530. We added a little bit of boost. It made more boost, but where I was in the fuel map was really fat, so it made exactly the same number on like another pound of boost. And then here we took out some fuel, left the boost alone, made 555. And this is like the good number. This is the conservative ignition and everything. I leaned a little bit to the 561 on both of these hits. Yeah, here we go. Made 561.94, 561.06. I was messing with ignition. It wasn't really gaining. You know, it was pretty close to what it wanted to make on pump gas. It was more than they expected to make or want, so they were plenty happy with that. So we left it go there, and that's where we finished up. So now that we have highlighted all the graphs here, maybe I can open up a data log or two and give you a little wingding of it. Okay, so let's open up the first hit, show everybody what it's all about. This, as you can see, it was a little bit fat, 10.0, bottoming out the wideband. Most of the hit, only 3.9 psi, and doing great. So it pulled clean, even though the air fuel was fat. It didn't break up, so it was just nipping the 10.0, you know, 10.6 area, and that was on an average of 3.7 psi, and that's what it made 359 with when he came in. And then the second hit, I cleaned up the fuel just slightly. It was such a 12.4 might seem high to some of you, but it's on 3 pounds of boost. So we trimmed this more and more, and I worked on right when you stuff it wide open, it had a fat part of the map, so we trimmed that up too. And one thing, I'll just jump farther down, like to like when we were making about 12 pounds or so. Yeah, I'm still working on trimming this out, acceleration enrichment and the map together. Low boost here, 12.2, and then transitioning into like a high 10, and this was 13 pounds, average of 13 psi, average of 14 spark up top. We are at 60% of the injector on 12, 13, 12 pounds. Doing great. What do we got in there? 15 degrees, 13 pounds, 15 degrees. And then we'll go to like one of the 14, 15 pound hits. I was shooting for an 11.0, nice and safe for a straight pump on medium boost. And you can see here it hit, what's the average? Maximum 15.6, minimum 1440, average 15.0, 14.4 degrees of timing, and what are we at? Duty cycle 60% still. Yeah, still 60%. So they were doing great on fuel, and that's when we moved around ignition a little bit, didn't really get any more power. So doing really good. Doing awesome. It's amazing to see. I had a 4.8, and later in the build I did the intake, throttle body, and slightly ported heads and made really good power. It's neat to see if you have a 5.3 and it's almost stock intake to oil pan. It has the sloppy mechanics there, Elgin 1840p, the 228, 230, sloppy stage 2, whatever you want to call it. It is all of those things. On an eBay deal, you can get that cam and a set of pack springs for like $315 shipped to your door. And then the whole VS Racing Sloppy Mechanics proven kit here netted these guys an insanely easy 550 wheel. They have never touched a turbo build before. This is their first time doing pretty much fuel injection build on their own. Incredible. They bought a gold box from Mike, they plugged everything in, they hit the key, and they said they were blown away. It just started and idled. They thought that they were going to have at least an issue. So other than that, incredible. So let me know what you guys think. This was an awesome build. It was cool to meet people that actually read the instructions and show up with no issues. As always, doesn't always work that way. For some people, it's obviously a big learning experience, so lots of homework, but for these people, I'm obviously blown away by people that can read directions that well. The other part of my amazement is knowing that I have that much info up is that people can just do this on their own on pure research. So think about that. Have a nice day. Good night.